I'm here with Ashley, who is CEO and founder of LoveBug Probiotics. But first and foremost, you're a mom. And how has becoming a mom changed the course of your life?
Becoming a mom changes everybody's life, right? Mine took a little bit of a different turn. So when I was 36 weeks pregnant, I tested positive for something called Group B strep. I had no idea what that meant. What it means actually is when you get to the hospital, they put you on antibiotics as soon as you arrive and then until after the baby's born. And it was 26 hours, my baby's born healthy, everyone's happy, and then I get home and it turns out he has horrible colic. He's screaming and crying after every feeding, he's getting these bloated tummies, and when he was 3 months old, he developed eczema over his whole body. And I'm reading all these things online and it talks about how common eczema is and how common colic is, but nothing about why it's so common. And I went to the pediatrician's office, I asked all these questions, and they just gave us prescriptions. They wanted to put him on a steroid cream for eczema. And, I have this tiny little infant there. I didn't want to immediately, put him on steroids. And so I pursued. I found other doctors. I asked all these questions. And they tested me and found out that I had a severe imbalance in my gut bacteria that I'd passed on to my baby.
And so from that, you were able to make some changes and you saw an immediate transformation.
It was incredible. I mean, they recommended we start taking probiotics. I started taking them and gave them to my son, and within just 3 weeks, everything transformed in his health. Not just externally, the eczema cleared up, but then his demeanor changed. I mean, he was screaming and crying because he was in pain, and he had this horrible gut. So I was so fascinated in just a short amount of time and doing something very simple. I had this new child on my hands and a new lease on life. How could this be? And the more and more I dug and the more and more I learned, I was fascinated to find out some of the stuff, but then horrified, because it turns out that so many other moms and babies out there are similarly impacted. Right now in the US, 25% of moms test positive for Group B strep like I did, so they get the antibiotics during labor, and then a third of babies are born via C-section. So that means that they're not getting mom's bacteria, her microbiome, during birth through the birth canal. And that starts teaching their immune system friend from foe. It's the basis, really. And so if they don't have the right immune system, it means that they're getting sick more often, which, as moms ourselves, we see all the time. And what happens then is more prescriptions, of course, more antibiotics. And it's scary to think now that on average, children by the time they get to 2 get 3 antibiotic prescriptions, and then by the time they're 10. So it's the highest administration of antibiotics of any age group to our youngest, when their guts are developing, their brains are developing, and all of these antibiotics are having a huge impact, not just then, but then will for the rest of their lives.
And so as you started researching and finding out so much more about your own health, the health of your baby, you found that a lot of products out there that claimed to help really just weren't cutting it.
That's right. I mean, we kept taking different ones and trying to find something that would work. And the problem was, so many of the products out there are only single strain formulations. So you take a broad spectrum antibiotic, it's killing off the good and the bad, right? And if you take a probiotic with just one strain in it, you're only putting in one of the good bacteria back. And our health is based on a diverse microbiome. Diversity is health. And so you really need a probiotic that's multi-strain, and then something that will get the good bacteria down to the lower GI, because if you start to lose the good bacteria in the stomach acid with a standard veggie capsule, you're not going to feel any of the benefit. And the worst thing is, spending money and trying to get well and trying to do everything right, and then, buying a product that's not effective. And, then you don't understand really the benefit of probiotics, because for me and for us, what happened was I didn't realize how sick I was until I got well. And it's so incredibly empowering to be able to transform your baby's health and the health of everyone in your family too.
So describe how the team you've curated is on a mission to really empower other moms.
Everyone who works at LoveBug actually is a mom themselves. So as moms ourselves, we know that, we're on the front lines. We're up at night with sick babies, sick husbands, and really I think the guardians of health for our whole family. And the most important thing we want to do is educate moms and let them know just how much power they have, because they can actually have a huge impact on the health of everyone in their family. And those first few years of life are so crucial. when a baby's gut is developing, and then by the time they get to age 4, it stabilizes, and that's the gut and the microbiome that they're going to have for the rest of their lives. So it's this unique opportunity that we have that will set them on a foundation of lifelong health.
So mom to mom, we know that there's so much we didn't know when we first gave birth. What do you hope to pass along to other women who are maybe first-time moms?
There's so much I wish I'd known when I became a mom. But I think the most important thing is just how much power we have, really, as moms. Yes, we have the power to give life, but then we have the power to give health, too. And we have this incredible opportunity in those first 4 years of life to lay the foundation of health for our kids for the rest of their lives. When a child is born, mom passes on her DNA, but then also this microbiome that's going to live in their gut and regulate their health. And from birth to age 4, that microbiome is developing rapidly. Just when their brains are developing so rapidly, so is this second brain, their guts. And by the time a child reaches age 3, 4, their microbiome stabilizes. And that's going to be the microbiome, for the most part, they're going to have for the rest of their lives. And, just as our guts can cause illness, guts can keep us healthy, and so that's the key message we want to get out there to other moms, just how much power we have in those first few years of life to set our kids up for a lifetime of health.